Welcome to the nativeuk.com podcast, the podcast where we look at an interesting news story from around the world, some useful words and expressions from that news story, and I ask you some questions connected to the topic. Today's news story is called I Want My Pants Back, and it comes from Sweden. So let's look at the questions. Now, you probably are listening to this and you don't have anyone to speak to, but don't let that stop you. The best way to do this part is pause the audio after I ask the question and answer yourself aloud in the mirror, or you could even record yourself on your phone and listen back to your answer. After the questions, I might choose one or two questions to give my own answers, and you can also compare your answers with mine. The questions. 1. What is the best hotel you've ever stayed in? Why was it the best? 2. Have you ever forgotten something important before or while travelling? 3. What would you do if you left something behind in another country? 4. Do you have any favourite items of clothing? Why? 5. Have you ever lost a favourite piece of clothing? 6. Do you like to buy clothes or souvenirs when you're abroad? 7. Have you ever been to Spain? What do you think about Spanish culture? There are two questions there that I'd just like to give my own answers to. The first is, have you ever forgotten something important before or while traveling? Now, this happened to me a few months ago. I was in Vietnam, in Da Nang, and I was flying to another city. So I was at the airport and I was waiting for my flight, and it was delayed. And I thought, wait a minute, where is my charger? Where is my phone charger? And then I remembered that, of course, I forgot to unplug it and left it in the hotel room. Now, you might think, well, it's just it's just a mobile phone charger. You can buy another one. They're everywhere. And you would be right, but this charger was a 100-watt super charger, so it was really good and pretty important because it could also power a laptop. Now, I did think about going to the hotel and then trying to get back in time for my flight to see if that was possible. But I thought, you know what, I'll send them a message and ask them if they could just post it to the hotel I was going to. And they did. Luckily, they did. A few days later, my charger arrived. And one thing I was really surprised about was the price of the actual delivery. I thought it was going to be quite expensive, but it was actually under £1, which is pretty cool. The other answer I'd like to give is, do you like to buy clothes or souvenirs when you're abroad? Now, I never buy souvenirs at all. I know lots of people do when they buy magnets. Lots of people buy magnets of places they go, and I think that's a really, really cool idea. But yeah, I don't. I have no interest in buying anything local. I think the only souvenir I've ever bought was I bought a Belarusian doll at Minsk Airport when I was just about to fly back to Lviv in Ukraine. I think that's the only souvenir that I've actually ever bought. Moving on. In this part, we're going to read the news story paragraph by paragraph and then look at some words and expressions I've highlighted. If you write these words and expressions down along with their translation into your language, that will see how well you understood the explanation. Of course, pause and replay anything you miss. So let's begin with the story, I Want My Pants Back. A man from Sweden made international headlines this month when he flew all the way back to Spain just to pick up his forgotten underwear. The man, in his early 30s, said the underwear had sentimental value and were too important to leave behind. So we have a man in his early 30s. If you're in your early 30s, you're between 30 and 33. That's what we say when we don't know someone's exact age. The story made headlines, it made international headlines, and this is when a story is very big and it's being shown and talked about on news channels all around the world. He said the underwear had sentimental value. Now, this is when something is really important to you because of its memories or emotions. He also said they were too important to leave behind. So if you leave something behind, you accidentally or you intentionally do not take it with you. The man had been on holiday in Malaga in the south of Spain for a short weekend break. He stayed at a small hotel close to the beach, but when he got back to Sweden, he realized he had left his favorite pair of underwear, a gift from his ex-girlfriend. So we have a weekend break. He was on a weekend break, and that's a short trip to relax, usually from Friday to Sunday, but also can be Friday to Monday. He realized he left his favorite underwear. So to realize something is when you suddenly understand or remember something. So I realized I left my mobile phone charger when I was at the airport, and the underpants were a gift from his ex-girlfriend, which is a woman he used to be in a romantic relationship with. The man said, at first I thought, forget it, it's just underwear. But then I started thinking about how many good memories were connected to them. It felt wrong to leave them behind like that. He immediately booked the next available flight back to Spain, picked up the underwear from the hotel and flew home again the same day. So he uses the phrase, forget it. And it's a phrase that means it's not important, never mind. So he says, at first I thought, forget it, it's not important. But then he remembered about the underwear and everything that is connected to it. And if something is connected to it, there's a link. So the good memories are linked to the underwear. He also said it felt wrong to leave them behind. And if something feels wrong, it's a feeling you have inside that you shouldn't do something. He also immediately booked the next available flight. So if you do something immediately, you do it right away without thinking too much. So he basically just booked a flight and went. The hotel staff was stunned when he showed up just for the underwear. One staff member said, we thought he must have left something really valuable, like jewellery or a passport. But no, it was just a pair of pants. We couldn't believe it. The bizarre thing is, he didn't contact us. We told him we would have posted his pants to him, but he said he couldn't take the chance. So the hotel staff was stunned, which means very surprised or shocked. When he showed up, and again, to show up means to arrive without really telling anyone. It's just to show up without announcing you're going to come. They thought he'd left something valuable, and if something is valuable, it is worth a lot of money. They suggest jewellery, which are chains or necklaces or rings. And they also say the bizarre thing, and bizarre means very strange, is he didn't contact them. That's why he just showed up. And when they told him they would post the pants to him, he said he couldn't take the risk. And this is a nice phrase. If you can't take the risk, it means you can't risk somebody else doing something and you have to do it yourself. Some people online praised the man for his dedication, while others joked about the world's most expensive underwear considering the cost of the flights. One user said, the man needs to get over his ex and move on, and leaving his pants in Spain would have been the perfect opportunity for a fresh start. The man, however, says he has no regrets. So people online praising the man, meaning they're saying positive things, they're saying good things. They were praising his dedication. And again, when you are dedicated, it shows that you care and you do lots of things and make a big effort to achieve something. However, another guy said that he needs to get over his ex. So to get over someone means to forget about someone that you were in a romantic relationship with. He also said he needs to move on. And again, to understand that the relationship is over and you continue with your life. But the man said he had no regrets, which means he has no bad feelings about what he did, and he's very happy that he has his pants back. Now I'm going to read the article in full. Try and follow along, listening out for those words and expressions we've already looked at, and see if they make sense with your translations. A man from Sweden made international headlines this month when he flew all the way back to Spain just to pick up his forgotten underwear. The man, in his early 30s, said the underwear had sentimental value and were too important to leave behind. The man had been on holiday in Malaga in the south of Spain for a short weekend break. He stayed at a small hotel close to the beach, but when he got home to Sweden, he realised he'd left behind his favourite pair of underwear, a gift from his ex-girlfriend. The man said, "At first I thought, forget it, it's just underwear, but then I started thinking about how many good memories were connected to them. It felt wrong to leave them behind like that." He immediately booked the next available flight back to Spain, picked up the underwear from the hotel, and flew back home again the same day. The hotel staff was stunned when he showed up just for the underwear. One staff member said, "We thought he must have left something really valuable like jewellery or a passport, but no, it was just a pair of pants. We couldn't believe it. The bizarre thing is he didn't contact us. We told him we would have posted his pants back to him, but he said he couldn't take the chance." Some people online praised the man for his dedication, while others joked about the world's most expensive underwear considering the cost of the flights. One user said the man needs to get over his ex and move on, and leaving his pants in Spain would have been the perfect opportunity for a fresh start. The man, however, says he has no regrets. I'm going to ask you some questions about the news story we've just read. Pause after each question and give your answer. 1. Do you think it was crazy or sweet to fly back for the underwear? 2. Is there anything you would fly back to a country for? 3. Why do you think he split up with his ex? 4. If you worked in a hotel and got an email or call about the underwear, what would you do? 5. If you could ask the man one question, what question would you ask? In this final part, I'm going to ask you some questions with one of the words or expressions in the news story today. Don't forget to pause and give your answer. 1. Do you own anything with sentimental value? 2. Can you think of a time when you were stunned by someone's behaviour? 3. What do you think is a valuable skill to have in today's world? 4. Have you ever done or seen anything that just felt wrong? 5. Can you think of any news stories that have made headlines recently? 6. Do you like it when friends show up at your flat? 7. If you went on a weekend break this coming weekend, where would you go and why? Just to give my answers on 2 of those questions there. What do you think is a valuable skill to have in today's world? I think knowing how to use AI and to be aware of AI is pretty valuable, since we are going to be using it more and more. And the other question, do you like it when friends show up at your flat? I absolutely hate this, actually. If somebody is coming to visit me, then I would like to know. I think there's nothing worse than people just showing up. I find it quite annoying. So, I think I would put that on the hate list. Yeah, very strong, but That's my answer. If you've made it this far, thanks for listening. This has been nativespeaker.uk, online English lessons with a native speaker. And for your speaking practice, visit www.onlineenglishspeakingclub.com, as they offer free online English speaking clubs, which is perfect to practice your English speaking skills, especially when you have no one to speak to. So thanks again, and hopefully see you another time.